of our times, Abdulrazak Gurnah, kindly come here before the Red Rostrum for the keynote address of LLF 2023, LLF Ed.
We're just going to make it difficult. Ah, that's better. That's better. Well, let me also add my thanks to the organizers, to Razi, of course, first of all, and to all his team for asking me, inviting us here, and organizing this whole thing. Thank you very much, and thank you, of course, for being here. So, for a writer, or at least for a writer of a certain kind that I'm familiar with, like myself, memory is a vital resource. I'm not referring to the ability to remember certain facts or details, but to the swarm of memories that linger on long after the moment has passed, and which at times strike out of silence to leave us quivering with regret, or if we're lucky, with unexpected elation. I think of this idea of memory as a writer's hinterland, in the sense that large urban centers depend on the country around them to provide the means to sustain them while they go about their self-important business. Of course, modern prosperous cities no longer rely on a hinterland in this sense. They fly in whatever they need for their gratification. But I'm thinking of more old-fashioned ways of living. Another way of speaking about memory is to describe it as experience. We remember what we have experienced in a profound sense of that word. That is, events which befell us, or stories we heard, news and histories we read about, and dreams and imaginings that thrilled or baffled us. It's the writer's self-inflicted burden to make something engaging, productive, or even beautiful out of this. The recall of memory on writing performs several of these functions. That is, engage, make something productive, and even something beautiful. So, recalling memory in writing performs several of these functions. And the least of these functions is a nostalgia for a lost time, a lament for a contentment which is no longer possible. So, nostalgia in this sense would seem to refer to a kind of self-deception, an introspective desire to see what has passed more positively than the present state. And as scholars and students of literature, we're often skeptical of such tropes. Indeed, we are trained to be skeptical. And there are good reasons for this, both in reading literature and in living our lives. Because at worst, sentiment can also be a means of evasion, a refusal to acknowledge responsibility for what was done in our name. On the other hand, let us not be in a hurry to throw out this word nostalgia. It derives from the Greek words nostos, which means return, and agos, which means pain. And one of its meanings is a distress aroused by a yearning for one's place of origin. It's a yearning those who have lost only know too well. In recent times, we have witnessed a strange panic in Europe about the arrival of refugees. Not that refugees is a new phenomenon for Europe, which had been convulsed in relentless wars for centuries. The 19th century had already seen large movements of people from Europe to North America, but even larger numbers to what we now call the Global South. These were not refugees, or they were not all refugees, but people empowered, at times involuntarily, by the expansionist ideologies of their states. And they were sent where they were sent, or they went where they went, to displace and dispossess non-European people of their rights and their lands and sometimes their lives. And they call this a civilizing mission. The incredible destruction of the 20th century wars saw not only the pulverization of prosperous and densely populated cities and territories, but an unprecedented forced transfer of people. What else is a refugee but such a creature as people of this city know too well? What then is a refugee? When we speak of this figure, we should remind ourselves that the colonization of the continent was also a deprivation of the rights and lands of native people, some of whom now have no recourse but to seek safety and how should we begin to think about the human obligation in this phenomenon? I will leave you to ponder that question for yourselves. To me, it seems both a moral and human obligation to offer hospitality to people whose lives are at risk, and to avoid criminalizing a desire for safety and self-fulfillment. Thank you very much.